This tutorial is about open top shapes. There are a number of configurations. So this is the most basic. It's based on a parallel fold stuck down here and here. There's just a fold at each end. It's really just a strip of card with a tab on one end, gluing it into a loop and then stuck down. Next example. In this case, it's the same thing. It's a strip of card with a tab at one end, gluing it into a loop. But in this case, the tabs that attach it to the page run the whole of each side, and then there's a crease above each corner, and then you need another crease, two creases above the base fold. So that's that one. This is a similar idea. This is a square, but in this case, this is based on a V-fold, so it's a V-fold lifting a parallelogram, whereas this one we just looked at, although it's square, this one is based on parallel folds, not V-folds. This one, this is based on V-folds, but there's one crease where the V sticks to the page and another at the other end. It's still just a loop of card with one tab holding it together. Then we get more interesting. In this case, we start getting tapered shapes. So for these, you will need a compass to draw the basic pattern, the net. So you can make this type, like a volcano shape. You can also make this type, it's like a funnel shape. And this lends itself to being turned into flowers. So here we have an example of a flower design. So we've got two layers of petals, and then we've got a pyramid in the middle. The pyramid design we'll explain in tutorial 21. All the planes, there are actually 6 planes that are lifted, so you can add pieces to any of those. There's also gullies created where it's glued to the page. This is glued down parallel fold, so there's 2 sticking places parallel to the spine, and so where they glue down you create a gully that you can build into. So here's another example. This is a basic flower with a pyramid type mechanism in the middle, and then this is a counter folded piece glued into the gully, so as you open it, rather than just being a straight piece like this one, you've got a piece that lifts up 3-dimensionally. So we'll just make a really basic open top shapes, just a loop glued together. So take a base sheet, here's your base sheet. So just cut yourself a strip of card, quite long. Fold a gluing tab onto one end. Fold it well. Now you bring the other end round and you can just glue that on, glue it shut. You might want it underneath, doesn't really matter. Anyway, put glue on that. So we glue that into a loop and then you crush it flat, because you will need it to be like this. So this will open up like this. Fold a gluing, fold tabs onto the bottom of it. So all the way along one side, you just make a big long crease. Fold it back on itself. And now you just want a tab left in the middle of each side. So you can just cut along that crease and just leave a section in the middle, just for a little gluing tab. So here it is. This is the loop with 2 tabs on it. Make sure they work nicely. Take your base. See how wide you want it. What sort of shape do you want? Do you just want a long oval shape, or do you want it nearly round? Just see how far away from the base you want it. If we go fairly round, that's the point. I'll just mark how far one side lies from the spine. Put glue on just one tab. and then glue the crease on that to your line, parallel to the central gully, and then fold the other tab down flat, put glue on that one. Fold the base shut. This again, it will take quite a lot of stress, so make sure you give it a chance for the glue to go off. And there it is. You'll find, well, as long as it's quite, the walls are quite short, it's fine, but the higher you go, the more they will tend to lean in. The bend of the card starts influencing the shape. I'll now make a flower type design, so that is a tapered shape. So for that, yeah, you will need your compass. So start with a base sheet, fold it in half, crease really well, fold it back on itself, crease it again and again. Now take a piece of card, and let's go for a yellow one, and put your compass on one side, and you need to draw as big an arc as you can. The way this works, the flatter the arc, the more the petals will stand up. The tighter the arc, the more they'll lie down. If you take a circle and just break it into 6 sections, equal sections, that will be flat. Like this thing we just made, that in effect was a completely flattened out arc. It was straight. And so now we're going as wide as we can. So with this compass, this is the widest it'll open. So you draw a big arc and then decide how tall you want the petals to be. So we'll just move it in randomly really, and draw another arc round there. And then mark the center point, where the point of the compass is. That's quite important. So there it is. And now change the diameter, change the gap between the pencil point and the point. You don't want it to be the same as the radius of this arc is. So I'm going for it's 4 centimeters roughly, and just measure off. Start with 1 point and just measure off 6 sections. It's really important that you do 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now you need your scoring implement. I'm using a biro, and you just score lines from the center point where your compass point was. Put it on the mark you made with the compass and just score across between the two parallel arcs. Okay, and now you'll need tabs on the inside that will stick it to the page. So score a line between 2, and then this is the important thing. This one is going to stick to the page, then you leave 2 blank, and then you score another line where there's going to be another tab. And finally, don't forget the final tab, the tab that's going to pull the whole thing into a loop. That needs to be marked on one end. I'd better do it on this end where I can see the guidelines. This is the time, if you want your petals to be shaped, this is your opportunity, whether you want them pointed, rounded, something more interesting. This is the moment to do it. So yeah, we'll just go for something fairly basic here. Now cut it out. So make sure you have these two tabs on the inside that are going to glue it to the page. Okay, here it is. So crease all the scored lines between the petals. So fold them all one way and then back on themselves. Don't forget to fold all the tabs as well, the 3 tabs. So now you glue it into a loop, but in this case make sure you keep the guidelines on the underneath. So turn it around like that, so you've got a clean surface showing, and then glue that. And we're going to glue it behind. There we are. So that's your basic flower shape, and now you need to line it up on the base. Tabs are going, you can have them going inside or outside. If you're going to make it like this one, then the tabs are all on the inside and they're all hidden underneath it. If you're not going to build any more, you might be better off having the tabs on the outside, so they're just hidden underneath the lean of the petals. And then make sure these creases are above the spine fold, and then you can glue down one side. So get it as round as you can get it. Make sure these 2 creases are above the central gully. Stick it down. Now fold the whole thing into its closed position. Put glue on the other tab. But because it's going to be on the outside, you want that tab folded back. So here's the glue. And fold it over. Press it firmly, make sure it's glued really soundly, and then open it up. There it is. If you want the petals to lie down more, you need to make the initial arcs more curved and less flat. If you want it to stand up more, make the initial arc flatter. This is one of mine. This is from Cut and Make Pop-Up Cards, published by Dover, which is now out of print. Each side of the boat is a slight arc, sort of banana-shaped piece, and it's glued down on each side. These ripples on each side, those are the tabs that actually glue it to the page. And the figure with the oars, this is made with a series of V-folds. The next one is Worms Wiggle by David Pelham, and here we have the lion's mouth. This is just an open-topped, one of the first ones I showed you. Based on a V-fold, it's stuck down with 2 converging creases converging on the spine. So as it closes, the whole face actually lifts away from the page, whereas the parallel fold, it stays down. So that's Worms Wiggle by David Pelham. Okay, and the next one, Pop-Up Board Games by Matt Johnston. Here it is, the outer ring. That is a basic open top shape made out of a straight strip of card. That's like the very first one I showed you. This tower, again, it's actually an open top shape with a cone stuck in the top, but it's not a box. If it had been a box, it would have had a lid inside which would have pushed out the edges and made the whole thing a bit more round. But because it's just an open top shape, you can see it's just tending to lean in a bit. And the last one, this is Blue 2 by David Carter. A whole series of conical volcano shapes, all operated by the automatic strip. The automatic pull strip is tutorial 16. And so these are really, if you were making a flower, But instead of putting the tabs on the inside, so you get a cone, you put the tabs on the outside, and that gives you the volcano shape. All this and more is explained in great detail in Pop-Up Design and Paper Mechanics.